everybody, to We Geek Podcast. Today is Wednesday, June 29th. You're listening to us on the N.FM. And if you're wondering why I sound funny, I don't exactly have my headset with me, but I still wanted to record the show for you guys. I just had to use one of my backup headsets. Do better next week, so bear with us if it sounds a little bit echoey on my end. My apologies. But yeah, man, had a pretty big week. Went out to the movie theater, saw some movies, played some games. What about you?
Uh, not a whole lot. I did Platinum Stick of Truth, so
Nice.
that was big. And you consider like I had to start the PS4 version from scratch, and that took what, like a week?
Yeah.
I don't. I keep looking over it at my shelf, and I'm staring down one game like it's just daring me to platinum it. So I don't. We'll we'll see if that, because once I, that's the thing. Like once I get one of those platinums, like it's like you get bit. It's
Yeah.
like I can't now. I'm worried I'm gonna fall back into it. Um, and
What's the game?
we'll talk about that in a second because we'll see.
Okay.
Because I just checked today. At some point, you and I need to jump onto Rocket League and play a game
Oh
because
yeah.
the play online with a friend trophy is the only one I'm missing.
Oh
And
wow.
I didn't know that until I was like, oh, I wonder how many trophies I have. Oh, I'm just missing one. Okay.
I thought we did do that before, but yeah, no doubt, man.
Yeah.
I'm down to do that. Yeah,
And
Rocket
then
League's super easy and
yeah.
fun.
So that's that platinum, and I keep looking, and I'm like, I wonder. It's gonna be July soon. I wonder if before the year's out, I could actually platinum Witcher 3. I
You are a crazy person.
yeah, I know, and that's why it's kind of like, yeah, it's a little up in the air, especially with everything coming out towards the end of the year. I mean, that's gonna give me. I will platinum Skyrim again, which
Yeah,
is
man.
which is a bizarre phrase to have to say, but they're like,
Hey, man.
we're gonna put it out again. I'm like, all right, then I'm gonna have to platinum it again.
Yeah, more power to you, because there's no way I could do that.
It takes time. It's so much grinding. I as much as I hate that, at least those are achievable. Some of them that are just way out there. My hat is off to anyone who platinumed Burnout Paradise. That to me was the one I looked at and I was like, you guys go have I go for it. I salute you.
Yeah, and that's how I feel like when I see. I'm just such a casual gamer. Like I looked at the South Park stuff and I was like, this is doable. I don't want to do that. I was like, I just want to play the game. Like there's so many little meticulous things you have to get before you go someplace else and do something. But you can't die in a hole. I was like, nah, I don't know about this.
Yeah, it's just it.
Totally doable, but
Yeah, it's just the time consuming part of it. And yeah, South Park was kind of on the lower end. Like it wasn't
mhm.
hard. It was just like, oh, here's the things. If you didn't know that you have to do this here or else it locks, then that's when you get into problems.
Right. That's when you're like, oh well, I was looking at it and it was basically like you need to save a bunch of times just in case, so you can go
I have
back.
I have 20 different save files. That's
Yeah,
that's how many
that's
backups I made.
that's crazy. So once you get the trophy, do you just delete it off your hard drive?
I probably will. I haven't I
Yeah.
haven't yet, but I might.
Yeah.
I mean, it's because I mean it was fun and all. Like I enjoyed going back through it again. Uh,
Yeah.
but I mean, there's it's kind of that thing of like once you're done with a game like that, to that extent,
Right.
it's like what's left, and
Yeah.
and
There's
if
nothing left after
yeah,
that. Just
and
wait for the sequel.
exactly like if you really like the game, you want to play through it again, or if there's uh something like the last Naruto game. When I
hmm
platinum that, it was like, okay, that was cool, but it's still a fighting game. There's still a multiplayer component and everything. Or something like Rocket League, where it's like, all right,
Right.
I platinum that, but that wasn't really the point.
Right. Right. Like I think I'm like one or two trophies away from Destiny's platinum, and I didn't even try. It was just because I played it so much. It was like, oh, you've done all of this stuff because I played hours and hours and hours and hours, and I just never put it down. And the trophies that I didn't get were like the ridiculous ones, like
Yeah, that,
go through a raid without anyone on your team dying,
right.
kind of thing.
And
Yeah,
that
those like that.
yeah, and that's
Uh,
that's the way it should be designed. Like
Yeah.
that's like some of the you should have a couple that are like, oh my god, this is just ridiculous. But most of them should be like, hey, if you're gonna play this game a lot, you're gonna wind up getting them.
You're crazy for thinking about The Witcher. Like I can't even fathom how many trophies they have to have.
And
Or
I haven't looked at the list, so I mean I don't need to look at it to know it's gonna be ridiculous. Like I know that already, but like I
well, it's got to be multiple playthroughs because of how many different
oh
scenarios you
yeah
have to.
no question no question about it.
Yeah, that's daunting. I don't know if I could do that, especially with Skyrim coming up. That's oh man, that's another one on the
That's one
table.
that is absolutely doable. I remember knocking that one out. That was a big celebration because Skyrim was the first one of those games that I had really jumped into.
Hmm.
And like once I started to fall down that rabbit hole, I was like, all right, I'm in. I you got me. What do you got? And then I went through and knocked out. Like I explored it to my heart's content, everything. And I was like, all right, where am I trophy wise? I was at like 70%. I was like, you know what? Let's see how long this takes. And I wound up like I totaled it like 119 hours.
Is there anything that can knock you out of being able to get a trophy with Skyrim?
No, no, I
No.
don't think so.
Okay,
Like
that's good.
you do have like it's another one where because of it has the same kind of like oh you can choose this and that and so on
Hmm.
that you will have to have a handful of different saves. But
Okay.
I don't know of any that are like permanently locked.
Gotcha. Okay, I'll have to look at the guide for that one then,
Yeah,
because that's that. Oh, man,
yeah,
I
just
can't imagine. I never even looked at it when I played it originally. I didn't even look at the trophies. Never really cared about trophies.
yeah, just aside from like oh you chose to kill this person instead of do that, just like
Right.
choices, yeah.
Hmm.
Siding with the Stormcloaks instead, some things like that. But I mean, I think those are the only kind of trophies they have that are like, nope, those, you get a trophy for one and a trophy for the other, but you can only do them one at a time. But
Right. So, like,
yeah,
for example, you join one side. I'm sorry, you save it. You join one side, and then you load the save, and then you join the other side, and you get both trophies.
yeah, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. So that makes sense. That's man. I can't wait to jump back into Skyrim. Um, did you see? Did you hear the? Well, oh yeah, we'll talk about it later. But one collection got delayed indefinitely.
Yeah, that was a that's yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
That was
Maybe
that
it's to add one that they just
I
seemingly left out.
well, one or the other, you know.
You know, a collection I want to play
What?
that I don't think has officially been announced, but it's a collection that when people are like, "You've never played that game," and I'm like, "I've played it for maybe an hour and that's it." I want to play like the BioShock collection.
There's it's been announced, wasn't it?
I don't know if it's officially been announced. I know that leaks and everything came out, but
Yeah, they did officially announce. It was one of those things where it leaked like 26 times and then finally I think they did announce it. Yeah.
so when is? See, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I think we talked about cuz like we talked a lot about all the different leaks. And then I think when they
Everything I'm seeing
finally
here says rumor.
really.
Yeah, I've been see. I don't think it's officially been like. Yeah, everything says all but confirmed, rumor, all but confirmed, looking likely.
Huh.
Yeah, I mean, I think all the red herrings are there. Obviously, it's going to happen, but that's a collection I want to play. Because I played the Batman's, but I haven't played Bioshock.
You didn't play the original?
Like I said, I played for maybe an hour or two,
Oh, so
and
good.
I
So
put
good.
it. It was just a weird part of my life where I just wasn't playing video games.
Yeah,
I
fair
was
enough.
still. I had the system. I bought the game, but I don't know what was going on. I just wasn't playing anything. I get in weird moods like that where I'll play a ton of games or watch a ton of TV, and then I just won't. And I'll do something else. I gotta get out of that space for a little bit, and then I come back eventually. Um, yeah, I'm weird, totally weird like that. But I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no man.
I think a lot of people are like that. Like you get so involved in something, and they're like, I want to spend my time doing something else for the next three or 4 months, and
Yeah, totally.
it's sort of in the same space. Like I'll get into moods where like I want to pump out some TV shows and I don't want to play a game, or I want to like I sat the other day at my PlayStation looking at all the games that I have, and this is such a first world problem, I know, but I'm looking at them and I'm like, there's nothing here I want to play.
Yeah.
It's and that's I know that sounds stupid or whatever. It sounds bad, but have you ever done that? Have you ever like looked at your collection of movies or your video games and been like, there's nothing I want to watch or nothing I want to play?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's like I'll look through Netflix and I'm like, we have 100,000 titles, and
Yeah,
I'm looking
yeah,
at it and I'm like, and there's still nothing on.
yeah,
like
yeah.
like
That's exactly how I felt
yeah,
because we
yeah.
get a lot of games through the free or whatever through PlayStation, and then that's what a lot of them are. And I'm just like, there's just nothing here that interests me, and I haven't finished Assassin's Creed. I haven't finished a lot of things, and I'm just like, none of this interests me. Nothing. I want something to jump out to go, you know, play me for a few hours. You know what I mean? Like it used to happen. And I'm sure it will. I'm sure in No Man's Sky, I'm looking forward to that. A few other games coming out this year. But yeah, man, I'm just playing nothing but Overwatch. It seems like that's my big go-to. Did you see? And I'll talk about it right now. I don't really have it in the notes or anything. It overtook um, League of Legends in North Korea for the most popular game played.
Wow.
Yeah, that's insane. That
Wow.
hasn't happened. It said like over 200 some odd weeks, uh, or something like that.
Yeah.
Uh, that's happened. Um, in the what do you call them? In the gamer dens or whatever. So the, they're playing mostly Overwatch there, and I'm just like, that is insane because I never thought something would topple League of Legends anytime soon.
Yeah, right. Wow.
But it's kind of the perfect game for me right now, because I'm in that mood where like there's nothing I really want to play, but I could play this for 5 minutes, or I could play it for 30 or an hour, depending on how each of the matches go.
Yeah.
Kind of the perfect game for me right now, though. But hey, man, we talked all about this. We'll get into movies. You want to go ahead and take off the first one?
Yeah, sure. So we got an update on Suicide Squad. David Ayer has said that the film is done, that it's in the can, it's mixed, it's all set and ready to go.
Nice.
Which
Yeah,
it,
you know what I was what was I watching? Oh, okay. You know the song in the trailer. Um, I made a joke and the whole world was laughing or whatnot. The trailer from the song in the first trailer for
yeah,
Suicide Squad.
yeah.
Who originally sang that? Do you know?
Not off the top of my head.
Is it Garfunkel? Oh man, people are probably screaming at us.
I'm sure they are.
I made a joke and it made the whole world laughing. Do you know what song I'm talking about though, right?
Yeah, yeah. I
Uh, you know what? I don't want to ruin it actually. Now that I no, you know what? Just ignore me. Nope, there's something. No, never mind. But I heard that song this weekend and I was like, where? I've heard that before, a million times, but it was so different.
yeah.
Um, and the way they do it in that trailer is just so different. But yeah, sorry. Ignore me.
Uh,
Oh man, I can't wait for that film. Actually, I'm really looking forward to it. It's weird. I'm looking forward more to that than I am like Justice League, if that makes sense.
okay.
Did you see any of the Justice League stuff?
I saw some of it. I think like the only thing we've seen since last week was some concept art.
Yeah, for like
Yeah.
the way they look, and apparently they don't look like that. I saw some people on Twitter, like some official people saying, "Hey, we went to the press junket like a week ago, and those are not what we saw."
Well, I mean that's why they call it concept art. Like
Right.
nobody, like they had Hawkeye for Civil War in his Ultimates gear in some
I loved
concept art.
that. I thought that looked great.
Yeah, that would have been different for sure.
Yeah, yeah, it would have been cool. Yeah, I mean, I hope what we saw looks what I actually imagined they would on the big screen. I hope it's a little bit more colorful. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like the drab, you
Well,
know,
I mean
all dark
they
tones.
yeah. I mean they keep saying they're listening, they hear us. Well, but
Yeah,
I
it needs to be brighter. It
uh
doesn't
huh.
have to be like ridiculously bright, but it needs to be like Superman needs to be lighter.
Right.
Uh, Flash needs to be more brighter red, I guess. I totally wish Aquaman was, like Aquaman, you know, but I don't know.
Right. We don't need the Super Friends in terms of tone, but in terms of color scheme, you could do worse.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be cool, just it took X-Men how long to realize like people want to see them as they saw them in the comic books. Like,
About 15 years.
yeah, exactly. And we only got to see it for like 2 minutes, if
Right.
that. And it's, man, just we want to see Wolverine in his outfit. We want to see the X-Men how they are. We get it with the Avengers. There's not a single complaint, Like you said, maybe Hawkeye could look a little bit more like he does. Um, you know, I don't know. The Scarlet Witch, maybe I saw some of her concept art, how it had the little thing on her head.
It had the headpiece. I think that's a little over the top, though.
I wouldn't care. I would be like, okay, even if it was something she created with like her little magic, whatever, like I don't know, just to pay homage to it. I was like, that would be awesome.
See,
I don't know.
there you go. Like that could work. Like as long as it's not just arbitrary. Like, hey, we gave her the little headpiece because hey, she has it in the comics. But they could,
Right.
yeah, they could totally do it. And it's like I made this, It's like, okay, cool, fine,
But
whatever.
the thing is, and this is what I point to, they did it with Psylocke so easy. They just didn't explain it. She looked like Psylocke, and I loved that.
Yeah.
I thought her character wasn't used well,
No,
but
well,
I loved the way she looked. They didn't need to explain why she was doing that, why she looked like that, but
no,
that was
that
the
was
least of what her problems were.
right, exactly. Like, oh, hey, and I love how she made a big deal about turning down playing uh, Deadpool's girlfriend because she wanted to play a role with some more substance and some more kick-ass to it, and she clearly made the wrong choice in that respect.
Yeah, I
I
wouldn't
mean,
put the blame on Olivia Munn though. She was doing her best with what she was given. She
I
wasn't given lines. She wasn't, and
no,
I mean, she was, but it was just,
well, no, I don't blame her for what happened with the character.
right.
I'm just saying, look, you've got Fox has their track record with X-Men movies, and then the Deadpool movie that they want no part of. Which one
Right.
from if you're really going to look at this and say I want to be in the comic book movie. I want
Right.
to be in the one that's going to be the most like the comic, the one that's going to be the more faithful, the one that's going to be the one that people really want to see. You don't pick the main franchise movie because
I get
they're
I get what you're saying.
yeah, I mean they're divisive at best.
Yeah,
And
but I mean,
that's
you got to put yourself in her shoes. Her favorite, she got to play her favorite character. Literally, I heard her talking about, because she's half Japanese and all this stuff. She was like, that is what I want to play. So I don't blame her. I mean, I don't know if I'd make a different decision in her shoes. I probably would have made the same decision, but I don't know. I get what you're saying. Obviously, if she would have chose the other way, it would have made more success. She would have it would just been way better off. But
yeah. Well, you follow your heart, and when you get the opportunity, you take it. I mean, I'm not,
yeah,
I'm not like, that was a stupid thing. Like, I'm not doing that. I'm just saying, hey, look how awful that turned out to be.
right. No, you're absolutely right. Speaking of Daredevil, Deadpool, sequel's going to begin early 2017 because of course they're going to want to get another one pumped out immediately, and you know. I don't. Hopefully, they have enough time to write a good script and everything else.
I would imagine so.
Yeah. If it has all the same people in it, my fear is that now that they know it's super successful and they're
Yeah.
just like, okay, let's get it out there. We don't care what we have. Do it, do it, do it. Make the funny.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, man. If they tried to do that, uh, Ryan Reynolds would be on the front lines against it.
Right, true.
That's
I just hope it's not like what do you call it? Like the Hangover syndrome, where it's like the first one out of the gate is just such a huge success, it's hysterical, and the second one you're like, maybe we should have waited a few years to get this right. But
right.
yeah, I get what you're saying.
So then, quick, we have to do a third one to rectify the mistakes, and not and hopefully we don't make them even worse by turning in an even worse movie.
Right,
Uh,
exactly.
not guys, not a good call. Not a good call.
Right. Did you
Uh,
hear the Kevin Smith stuff with the X-Men?
I this all right. So one of the producers on his Fat and on Batman podcast
Hmm.
is trying to be Varus here. Like
Hmm.
he's like, my little birds told me that Fox is thinking about the deal with Marvel, and I'm like, okay, and well, and it'll be years down the road before it happens, but they want it to happen. Okay, we kind of all figured this. Like
Yeah.
this is not news. This has
Right. No,
nothing.
it's
I
I welcome it. I totally welcome it. It gets people talking. It gets the conversation out there. It gets the hashtags. It gets the studios looking. More power to them. They need to hear that. They need to see that. They need to see the reactions. They need to read the comments. They need to know that people are desperately wanting that are X-Men fans, because, like you said, a lot of people feel burned from the last one. They feel burned out. They're like, okay, well, we're all waiting for Hugh Jackman to retire, and then what the hell are you gonna do?
yeah. Here's
That's where everyone's at right now.
I maintain Fox is not going to budge until after Homecoming, because once Homecoming comes out and makes billions of dollars, because it's finally going to be another Spider-Man movie done right in the MCU, connected and a whole bit, and it does amazing things for the character and the company and for all of this, then, and I firmly believe only then, might Fox change their tune. And I
Right, they
hope
want to
that,
get in that $1 billion club,
right?
and and that's the thing, is it's going to be Sony making the money. Marvel's going to, or Disney's going to have the creative, but who cares when you're the one taking the check?
Right. And it only, like, it helps everybody. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, this only helps everyone.
Yep. Yep. And I'm glad Sony came around. It took a lot of things to happen for them to do that, and they got their Mickey Mouse back, for the Marvel stuff.
Yeah.
And
It took an absolute PR disaster for this to come about. But
it did. So, who knows? We'll see. I think if that happens, if they do make a deal, I think that would make Hugh Jackman go, okay, maybe I'll do a cameo.
are you, he'd be in the, are you kidding? He'd be in the next Marvel movie in a heartbeat.
Absolutely, yeah. So,
He would love nothing more to do it. Could you? I mean, him and Spider-Man doing a movie would be. Are you kidding? Come on.
yep,
That's it. Turn off the lights, send everybody home. It's over.
yep. No, I agree, man. I totally agree. I'd love to see him in, like, the Netflix stuff or something, just to pop in, go crazy. Oh, it'd be so good. Him and the Punisher or something. That'd be
Now
great.
you're talking.
Oh yeah. Speaking of Spider-Man, did you see the set photos?
Yeah, hey, he looks like he did in Civil War, kind of.
Yeah, yeah, the blue looks a little funky. I'm wondering if, like, that's what we're gonna finally see in the film, or if that's, like, I don't know, like there's a little CGI on it or something.
There might be a bit. I'm sure there's a little CGI on everything anymore, just to really
Yeah,
make something pop or cover something. I'm sure.
yeah, yeah. It looked cool. It looked homemade, not homemade in a way, but, like, I don't know what I'm trying to say. It didn't look like the last, not Civil War, but like the other franchise, like the other Spider-Man,
Yeah,
one,
like
two, and
this.
three.
Yeah, like this was like, oh, I made this. I'm good at it, but still, I made this.
Right. And I mean, like, we know Tony Stark made it for him and blah blah blah, but it doesn't look. It looks authentic, I guess, is the word I'm
There you
using.
go. Yeah, it's a good
Right.
word.
It doesn't look like he sent this off to get manufactured or something like that. It looked
Right.
like, just the mask and everything. I was like, okay, that's awesome. Can't wait for this. And plus, the eyes are what are CG, and what we're looking at in the pictures are not the final eyes. So
Right.
yeah, I was just like, okay, that's cool. That's awesome. I can't wait. Uh, yeah, just can't wait to learn more about that. I'm super pumped to find out what they're doing with the video game. You know, what are we
Yeah.
gonna get first?
That's a good question. Probably the movie.
Probably the movie.
Well,
Yeah,
although I don't know though, with all the talk about that trailer was done in game. I mean, that means they've got to have a lot done for that.
yeah. That'd be smart if they release it the same year.
It's gonna be close. Oh, it's
Is it
not.
coming out next year?
Yeah,
Okay, so yeah, maybe next year or the year after that we'll get the game. But
I think next year. I think you keep it as close as you possibly can.
yeah, make it a holiday title next year. Perfect. Or if not sooner, like around the time the movie comes out. So
That's
I
I would think like I would do like a couple weeks after, if that's possible.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Get everybody pumped. Well, see, no, actually, I would do it that week or the week before because it has nothing to do with the movie. So it's not like you're spoiling
Fair
something.
enough. Fair enough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like you come home from the movie theater. Dude, I can't tell you how many times I've come home from these movies and I'm like, I want to do something in that universe. I went and resubbed for WoW for a month because I saw the movie and I was like, God, all this is bringing back all these memories and I'm playing with my buddies and I'm like, this is cool. Doubt I'll do it for another month, but it was fun for a month. So, same thing with Spider-Man, same thing with X-Men. You get out of the movie and you're like, man, I want to play a game or something. There's nothing. Same thing happened with Star Wars, and we had Battlefront, but it wasn't that fulfilling. But it was still there. You know,
Yeah.
um, you want that for when you go see films like that, and to come home and be like, all right, I want to put in Spider-Man and just blow through it because there's literally no other Spider-Man game you can play that's any good for the PlayStation 4. There's that other garbage one, but you do yourself a disservice.
Yeah. Some of the I miss. It was interesting because I didn't know that Activision's license had lapsed
Yeah.
after I
Oh
guess
yeah.
Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Oh yeah, you can't even buy it on the store if you want to now,
Yeah.
probably.
That was like the Amazing Spider-Man games weren't bad. Shattered Dimensions was pretty good.
Oh, I
Um,
heard the Amazing Spider-Man was bad.
no, not movie wise, but not game wise. Like I
That's
enjoy,
what I mean. The
yeah.
game.
Like I don't know. I enjoyed it. Like I don't. I mean,
Oh.
it didn't jump out at me or anything. So I mean, that's fair enough. But like
Oh, see, I didn't know. I heard it was bad.
not to my, not that I can remember.
You know which one I really liked was Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yes, yes, that was so good.
Yeah, that was really good.
That one was hands down my favorite for
Hmm.
sure. I love the old PlayStation Spider-Man.
Yeah.
The first one from what was it like 2000.
Hmm.
They kept the funny. That was
Yeah.
what was great. Like so many of those cutscenes were, because the whole thing with Venom thinking that Spider-Man had set all this up, and they figured out he was wrong, and he was just like, "Oh, our bad." It's like our bad, our
Right.
bad. I'm gonna kill you.
And there was
Uh,
Shattered Dimensions, and then there was like Shadow Complex or something.
no. That was a whole other game. Um, it, Edge of Time. I think.
Okay, yeah. There's one with all the different dimensions.
Well, that was Shattered Dimensions. Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Which was the one with Wolverine?
Oh, friend or foe? No, Web of Shadows. I
Web of
think
Shadows. Yeah, that was
something
another
like
good
that. I
one.
don't know. That was an earlier PS3 one. Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, we gotta take a quick break. When we get back, we actually have some more Sony Spider-Man news, and a bunch of other stuff. So, you're listening to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. See you guys all in a minute. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. We got some more movie news for you. I saw that Sony is reportedly still working on Spider-Man spin-off film, featuring Wild Pack mercenary leader Silver Sable.
Yeah. That's it's an interesting choice.
Is she still dead in the comics?
Well, yeah, so far, because
I
we haven't gotten to the big storyline yet, so I don't know.
Oh yeah, I need to catch up on Amazing Spider-Man because like everybody's alive now apparently,
Well,
and it's new Clone Saga.
yeah, it's Jackal. I mean, come on, that's I don't.
Yeah, I was listening to a few comic podcasts and that like some people see that's back when I guess when I didn't really read comics like we do now,
Yeah.
and like they talk about that being the dark times.
Because the Clone Saga was just awful, and the problem
Yeah.
wasn't like the idea was interesting, but it was so bloated and so drawn out. It was and then instead of trying to end it, they tried to keep stretching it, and they made it. Oh God, it was just awful.
Right.
It was just like everything that could go wrong with a comic book story went wrong.
Yeah.
And I mean that's why you see so many things nowadays where it's like, oh, that story didn't work. Let's just never speak of it again. Like in short order. where they're like, oh,
Right.
this ran for like 4 or 5 issues and it tanked. Moving on very quickly, where the Clone Saga was like, hey, it ran for like 30 or 40 issues and it tanked all of them. Let's go for another few. And it's like, oh my
Right.
god, no, stop, stop, stop.
Right. Like the time where Gwen Stacy slept with Norman Osborn,
Oh,
right?
oh god.
Like
Ah.
there's all these storylines that they just like, whoop, that never happened.
There's just and then of course this all kind of led up to the deal with Mephisto of just like, hey, we've backed ourselves into a corner from a storytelling standpoint.
Right.
So how about a Deus Ex, the opposite of the opposite of Deus Ex Machina, basically. And they were
Right.
like, sure, and then we get one more day and everything, or no, you got one more day, and then you got a brand new day. That's right. But
Right.
like uh, I don't know. They've been able to work with it from there.
Mhm.
But just I don't. And there's talk of undoing the undoing.
Right.
Even
I mean, I could see Dan Slott doing that. Dan Slott has done a hell of a job.
he could do it. I would trust him to do this. His
Yes.
his run on Amazing Spider-Man and Superior Spider-Man, for how long he's been on it, has been he's brought
Oh
to
yeah.
Spider-Man what Snyder brought to Batman.
And he's been doing it longer.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, I absolutely like I completely agree. Think about Marvel in the last however many years. Every time they do big shakeups, literally everyone's books get shook up. Um, Even Brian Michael Bendis, going from Avengers to X-Men to Guardians and everything else, he stays the same. They keep on Spider-Man because like you're doing a great job.
Yeah.
you know, I can't imagine someone else doing it right now. Actually, I would love to see Scott Snyder do Spider-Man. That would be great. But no, I mean like, yeah, he'd be the one to do it. He'd be the one to get them together and whatnot. I need to catch up. Um, I can't. I don't know where I'm at right now. I think I'm like on 6 or 7,
Yeah, they're
and
up
I can't
to
say how many Spider-Man there are right now.
well, there's 13 or 14.
Oh, okay, so
I
I'm
think
not that far
you're not
behind.
you're not real far.
Right, right.
Yeah,
Because
it's
I mean, they literally hint at the Jackal in the first issue
yeah, and
of
then
it.
they pop him up like every once in a while. But the way they
Right.
do it is really interesting with Rhino, and then with I love how they do make the distinction between the Lizard and Kurt Connors.
Yeah.
That I find fascinating.
Yeah.
But then you have like all like it's slowly starting to roll towards whatever this is that it's gonna be. Um,
Right.
and it's interesting. I'm gonna go back and reread Spider Verse again, just because it's so good. It's got to be one of my favorite events, probably ever. Um,
Oh yeah.
just because it's like, hey, here's why. Because they've always like teased the mysticism of the web and spiders and all this, and
Hmm.
then they really bring it to the front here. They're like, all right, we've talked about this for 40 years, so
Well, yeah. Well, they
he,
did a much better job than they did with the one or what the other or
the
what was it called?
the other, yeah,
Yeah,
you're right,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And that was I did not like that.
But I love how they even incorporated that. That's one thing
Right,
that I love about the Spider-Man series for all of its different runs. It's
right,
it's it's taken its mistakes and it said, all right, here's this thing we don't want to talk about that nobody likes that was a terrible decision, and we're gonna repurpose it in a way that says, hey, this happened, but here's really why, and it
right.
works.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, we can. I would rather not talk about Doc Ock and Aunt May almost getting married again, but that's a story for another day.
Right,
But
right.
you
Oh,
know,
there's so many bad things that
well,
have
but I mean
happened.
that's the thing. When you've had, I mean, my God, it's been what 50 years, I think. What are we up to? Like 53 years of Spider-Man. You're gonna have especially when it's a bi-weekly book, when
Hmm.
it's twice a month, you're gonna hit some bumps.
Oh yeah, I can't wait for next year when we do the you do Spider-Man, I do X-Men.
Yeah, and I tell you what, And I even love how in the Ultimate Spider-Man line they did a clone saga, and
Right.
that was ballsy to say,
Hmm.
look,
Oh yeah.
the clone saga, you may hate it, but it's important. It's important
Right.
enough to do it in a completely different universe, and that was a case of where I think they did it fantastically.
Oh yeah.
And I love the bow on top of that at the end of it, where you've got Peter staring down Nick Fury and all this shield backup, and Fury just kind of stares at him, and he says, "Kid, if there was ever anything that was gonna make you go bad, this would have been it." And
Right.
Peter just kind of looks at him and basically just tells him, "Look, I just want to go to bed." It's just
Right.
like that's it. He's like, "I just want to go home."
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. Oh man, I gotta reread that one because the Ultimate line. That's another one that's just solid all the way through. I think.
Yes, they're even the way it tiptoes around Ultimatum and then the relaunch and everything.
Yeah.
Ultimate Spider-Man, and it does like the things that it did, like the thing it did with the Shocker. I was like, they took this guy who was not an A-level villain in the main line, and they made him like a Q grade villain in the Ultimate line, and they kept
Hmm.
making him this joke and this punching bag, and then they gave him this big emotional issue, and I was like, well, damn, that's okay. I didn't see that coming. That was impressive.
Oh yeah. I have. I don't know if I ever told you this. I have the Ultimate Spider-Man Omnibus Volume One. Um,
God, that's got to cover
and
what the first like.
first 100 issues.
That sounds about right. Yeah,
Yeah. And they never made a second one. Kind of pissed.
they did. That's right. They never did.
They never did.
That's right.
Yeah. I think it what 22. How many volumes were there? 22.
Something like that. There was 166 issues, 165.
Yeah. Here, let me. Okay, yeah. 22 volumes of Ultimate Spider-Man. Then there was Ultimate Requiem. Then there was 4 volumes of Ultimate Comics Spider-Man. Then there was Ultimate Comics Fallout. Then there was 3 volumes of Ultimate Comics Spider-Man, which was Miles Morales.
Well, Miles actually started after Requiem. Requiem was the 6 issue like funeral story.
Oh, okay. Then why? Hmm.
Because after Requiem was when they were like, all right, we tried the whole relaunch thing where we called everything Ultimate Comics whatever, and then that confused everybody. So here's a big pivotal moment, and it's going to be
Oh,
a
okay, yeah.
giant crossover, and then we're going to restart again.
Yeah, okay, gotcha. Because
Because
it said there was 4 volumes of Ultimate Comics. Then it said Spider-Man. But
yeah,
you're right. I think you're right. Yeah, there's a lot there.
yeah, it's
Jesus.
100 because Requiem is 6 issues, and there's 165 for Ultimate Spider-Man. So there's I think 171 total for Peter Parker in the Ultimate Universe.
Oh, Jesus. That's crazy. Yep.
So, but good
Yeah.
run, and I recommend that to anybody who's like I don't who's like I want to read like if they're like I'm looking for a good superhero comic.
Hmm.
That's if there's nothing that immediately springs to mind, I always just
Hmm.
tell them to start Ultimate Spider-Man. Like
Yeah.
you cannot go wrong with that. I mean, Ultimate
Oh no.
X-Men was good. Even Ultimate Fantastic Four was good at the beginning.
I loved Ultimate X-Men. Like that's one of my favorite runs.
It
The
it
the first like 30 issues.
Yeah, once they got into like bringing in Onslaught and everything, like it got a little
Right.
wonky.
Right, right. No, I mean like with Beast and Jean that's always my favorite when you get Wolverine, Cyclops, Beast, Jean, Gambit or Nightcrawler, like
Like
the original, the OGs, the ones that we remember from like the animated
well, yeah,
series.
the '90s lineup pretty much.
Right.
Yeah,
They always it hasn't been like that in years. It's kind of close now, but you got like Old Man Logan. It's always something's off. you
right.
know. Yeah, it's never. It's always like something's odd or whatever. But
Yeah, hey, times
uh,
change.
yep, definitely. Um, where were
So
we?
Indiana Jones.
Yeah, you go ahead and take it.
There's just no way to segue, so screw it. Why bother? Um,
Right.
Bob Iger over at Disney has said that even though we haven't started even pre-production on the fifth Indiana Jones movie, We're thinking about a sixth.
Wow.
Okay, sure, Bob. I
Right.
mean, that a sixth Indiana Jones with Harrison Ford, because they've already said flat out they're not going to recast. Uh,
Right.
I mean, it's going to be Indiana Jones and the Sacred Bottle of Geritol. Like, I mean, by the time that movie comes out, he's going to be in his 80s.
Maybe they're thinking the next one's going to be mostly indie, and they're going to set up the story about who's going to be taking it over, and the sixth one's going to be the passing of the torch. Um, I imagine that's going to be the movie Harrison also wants to go out on, when he retires. I gotta imagine that's the one he literally hands his hat off to, and is like, I'm done with movies. You think at his age, he's like, I just want to fly airplanes or something.
Yeah,
Like,
because he does that so well.
but you know what I mean? Like, I imagine at his age, he's like, look, I just don't want to do this anymore.
Christopher Lee was still making movies up until he died in his 90s, man. I mean,
That's true. He even made like like an album, right? Like a rock
two,
album.
he made two heavy metal albums.
God bless him.
I mean,
Jeez.
that's a life. That's everything he did. Are you kidding? He met J.R.R. Tolkien. Like, I mean, that's
I met J.R.R. Tolkien, was in Lord of the Rings, was in Star Wars, did a heavy metal album.
yeah. On
Like,
top of being Dracula and
yeah, right.
being he was part of an actual Nazi hunter
Well,
commando unit. Like, I mean,
Jesus Christ.
he was a legitimate badass all the way around. Like,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, talk about what a life to live. You know,
I mean,
like
that's
that's something to
that's
go out on.
yeah, that's one of those that there's a special seat up there for him. It's,
Right,
it's just like,
right,
Chris, hey, here, we saved you a spot.
exactly. Oh yeah,
Oh,
man. Let's see what else we got here. We got some Rogue One news. Darth Vader, of course, confirmed to appear in the upcoming film. Will be voiced by James Earl Jones. And the film will reportedly not use the iconic title crawl. Which okay, if you're gonna switch it up for this kind of film, do that.
that's
Leave those
they're
for the
yeah,
what's up?
they're discussing it with the standalone films. They haven't decided officially yet, but
Okay.
they're saying maybe for these little spin-off like saga films, maybe don't do the opening titles.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that because I wouldn't be offended or anything if they didn't do it, and it would make sense if they didn't do it. But at the same time, I want to see the big Star Wars boom, and then I want to see the crawl, just to give me an update about where we're at, what we're doing, what time frame it is. That makes sense. So the audience isn't like, I'm ready for episode 8, because you know there's going to be someone in the theater that's going to go, wait a second, what happened to the girl? What happened to the girl? Like they're going to be wondering, wait a second, is this Ray? Not fans, but you know what I mean. Like there's going to be like that person in the audience that's just totally confused.
Well, but I mean that's why they're not. That's why they've changed the title around and everything. I mean they're and look,
Right.
I don't think you can make movies to accommodate the lowest common denominator.
I get
I
what you're saying.
I don't. I mean I understand and I know there are going to be plenty of people out there like that.
Right.
I just hope those people don't breed. You know.
But no, come on. There's people that just don't care about it like we do, and they're going to be dragged along. And
Well then they're
their significant other is going to try and explain it to them, and nothing's going to get through to them. And when they sit down in the theater, they're going to go, "Wait a second, where's Finn? I thought Finn was in this movie." You know what
but
I
if
mean?
these
Like,
yeah, but hang on, but if these people really don't care and they had to get dragged along to this one,
I
they're
guess
not going to ask any questions.
it's going to happen though. We're going to see those. We're going to see that on the news where someone's like, "I was a bit disappointed. I was wondering where that where that fellow was and that girl. What happened?
Yeah,
Now we
well,
get someone else, and Darth Vader's back. Wait a second, I thought he passed away."
uh,
All right, we gotta take a quick break. We'll get back. We'll get into more movie news. Again, you're listening to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. See you guys in a minute. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. And before the break, we were talking about Star Wars and not showing the credits. It would be funny they just opened it up like a romantic comedy or some stupid like like suddenly you see the credits. It's just that's I'm gonna be paying attention to this to see like how the if there's no crawl, like do you have like little names pop up places, or I don't know. It's just gonna be weird. It's I because we've never seen a Star Wars movie that hasn't opened up the same way.
Disney and Lucasfilm present How to Lose a Starbase in 10 Days.
Right? Oh yeah. Are we gonna get the whole castle and the
Uh,
you wish upon us? Like, is it gonna be like that? Oh man, I hope.
oh.
You know what though? Honestly, I wouldn't mind if that was a topic of discussion that a lot of people were afraid Disney was going to do. They didn't want to see the castle before the Star Wars movie, and I don't even know if I'd care. They did such a good job with the last one. I wouldn't mind if it opened up with the castle. What if it was just like a quiet? It shows the castle, it does the line, it does the Disney, and then it's a black screen, and then it goes boom, Star Wars. I'd totally be cool for that.
Well, and here's the thing. I would rather see Disney before Lucas.
Yes,
Do it that
exactly.
way. Don't go from Disney into Star Wars.
That makes sense.
Go
Yeah.
from Disney to Lucasfilm, then to Star Wars.
Right.
Do it
Do
that
the
way.
castle, do the Lucasfilm with the Shining, and then boom, Star Wars. I'd be
Yeah.
perfectly fine with that. And I think they didn't want to do that for the first one because it's kind of like, hey, we both know this is new,
Right.
so we don't want to make it weird for you.
Yeah.
But now it's like we've been dating for a while, so it's like it's okay now. You're cool.
If we
We're
want to,
comfortable.
yeah, if we want to bring our love for an in and put it up here, we can. So
Right, exactly. So now it's a little bit different. I think eventually they're gonna do that, or maybe they won't. Maybe they're just like, hey, look, we don't need to put Disney in front of this. That there's no reason to. Everyone knows they're making it. It's not a secret. So
well, but
I don't
then
know.
you have the people who get dragged to it who don't know, and they're gonna ask, well, wait a minute, I thought Disney made these movies. Where was their logo?
No way. If they're confused on Star Wars, they don't know that much behind the scenes. But yeah, they're gonna wait. Where's the 20th Century Fox? Dun 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 dun. Dun. Yeah.
Oh
But
boy.
let's see here. What other movie news we got? We got some Wolfman rumors.
Yeah, we're gonna go on a bit of a roll here.
Yeah, you take it actually.
I mean, Universal. There's talk that of course Universal's gonna be rebooting the Wolfman at some point. That's a given with what they're doing with everything else, and they really want The Rock.
Okay.
They really want Dwayne Johnson to be the Wolfman. Because I mean he's not busy.
Yeah, why not? I could see it. I could see him as the Wolfman.
He would. Oh no, he totally work. Like, I
He'd be
think he could.
scary just as the Rock.
Right? Yeah. Could you? I
Yeah.
mean, just put him in a wig and be like, "Here's the Wolfman." People go, ah. Like,
Oh God, he'd actually be really terrifying. Like just because of how big he is.
yeah.
Like imagine the wolf they make, because usually it's like a little, it's like Michael J. Fox or something,
Yeah.
and it's not someone that's terrifying. So like they literally have
He would make a terrifying Wolfman. He really would.
exactly.
He had
I'm
God.
trying to
What?
think of.
Hercules. He had such awful hair in Hercules.
I'm trying to think. No, no, I know what it was. It was when he did that Bambi like skit for SNL,
Oh yeah.
and he had like the Bambi stuff on. Yeah. Okay.
uh,
All right, Rock. Keep making movies, man. I saw a still that they released with um for Fast 8.
oh yeah. I mean yeah.
He's like Iceman's here or something.
yeah. So frost yourself. It's like, oh, I don't know. And they showed because like this came like a couple days after they put out the cars, and they were like, "We race on ice," and I'm like, "You guys just go keep doing you. Like, be nutty, be fun." It's pretty much all they haven't done at this
Oh
point.
yeah. Oh yeah. Last week
Um,
when I was playing Overwatch, because I like to put like I'll play Overwatch and I'll put a podcast on. It's a perfect game for it. Or like on a monitor I'll put like YouTube videos, and I've been listening to a lot of old Giant Bomb stuff. And one of my favorite things, I don't know the channel, but they have like a bunch. They basically take like 7-minute clips or 10-minute clips or 3-minute clips, whatever, like the best of type stuff. And one of them was the Giant Bomb crew explaining how Fast and Furious is the best franchise on the planet. It was back when The Rock, um, It was the second movie with The Rock, where like The Rock was gonna join them, like and they're like explaining to someone who's never seen the series except for like the first or second one, like how now all of a sudden it's I don't know I won't go too much into it, but it made me laugh so hard.
Oh
just
man.
just thinking about that franchise and where it's come from and how batshit crazy it is, and how like how they did the third one, and then the one after that took place before the third one, the one after that took place before the third one, and like I don't know, it's just it reminded me of just how just batshit crazy the story of Fast and Furious is.
Yeah, and remember, like after the third one, everybody was like, "Well, this franchise is toast."
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
it
Except for
was
me, I was the only one that came out of the theater. Like, I really enjoyed that because I'm so weird. I like Japanese culture. I've always kind of wanted to go there. I don't know. I don't know why that made it so interesting to me.
I don't either.
I thought it was cool. It's like, oh, they're in a Japanese school, and I don't know why I thought that was so cool. That's why I guess I like Persona so much. And 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 yeah, and Han was my favorite character immediately. I'm like, this guy is so cool. Like, if I moved to Japan, I'd want to meet someone just like that. But I don't know. It's just such a weird. No one in a million years ever thought that was going to happen from those Fast and Furious movies, and now they're like the biggest thing Universal has.
Exactly. Like nobody saw that coming. Absolutely nobody would have come out of Tokyo Drift and said this franchise is going to go on to make billions of dollars.
Right, right.
Never, never. Nobody. If you had come out of there and foreseen some kind of grand future for it, they would have either a thrown you in a tank to predict everything for the next 20 years, or they would have thrown you in a padded cell.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
You'd
It was funny. It's
oh,
funny in the clip. They were like, "And Letty's back. How? We thought she died. Who knows? Who gives a fuck? She's back." It's just great. It's like, yeah, I remember hearing that like she's back, but how? Like, how are they gonna do this? And it's like it doesn't matter. It's so cartoonish at this point. It's like Dragon Ball Z that it's so over the top, but no one cares. There's like we don't care. This is superhero movies for car enthusiasts at this point. They stopped. It's like when Fast and Furious stops getting real or stop. What's that? Was that true? Sorry, I'm going off on a tangent. But it's when they stopped caring about like cars and it was like, how can we just make this ridiculous?
yeah. Well, it was like okay, street racing was one thing, but then they were like, you know what, fine, just throw that out the window. Who cares? They just
let's just
happen to use cars.
let's just make cars fly through buildings in Dubai.
Hey, cars can't fly, Dom. Cars can't fly.
Right, right. It's so good.
And that's the thing, is that they embraced it. They didn't try to make a serious movie about this. They were like, look, this is just meant to be entertaining, plain and simple.
Yep.
And that's why it worked.
Yep, yep, and it totally works, and I can't wait to see the next one. I'll be there that
Yeah.
opening weekend.
Oh, and
um,
did you see Tyrese is coming back to Transformers?
what?
Yeah, his character that wasn't in the last movie because none of them were. He's coming to last night.
Okay, all right. How is he going to?
Because who did he play in the first couple? Like that soldier that he played, was it Epps?
He,
I think.
he was a soldier in
Yeah.
just the third one, I thought.
No, he was in. No, he was in the first three, wasn't he?
Was he in the first three? I thought he was just in the third one.
No, he was definitely in the second one too.
Oh, the second one I've completely blocked out of my memory.
Fair enough.
I mean, he goes to heaven. He goes to robot heaven in that movie. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the third one I didn't think was that bad.
Look, you can't get worse than the second one. I'm
Right,
sorry, you
right.
just
The
can't.
second one was bad. Third one was like okay. Fourth one I was like, when is this ending?
Yeah, I mean the fourth one was bad, but it wasn't. It was just. I don't know. There's I'm not sure which is worse, a movie that is bad or a movie that is boring.
Speaking of that, did you see this Tetris news?
I I almost want to save that for the next segment, just because it's going to
Okay.
take me longer than 2 minutes to talk
All
about
right.
this.
We'll put a pin in that one. We got some Minecraft film based on game released May 24th, 2019.
Yeah,
I could
okay.
see this. Why not? I could do an animated. I could totally see them doing a Minecraft film.
Yeah, I mean, sure, why not? They're making animated everything. Look, if they did it with Legos, they can do it with Minecraft.
Oh yeah,
I, I,
totally. Great. There's a big audience for that. We got John Boyega news. Actor to star in untitled Detroit crime drama based on 1967 riots, directed by Catherine. Was it Bigelow?
Bigelow, yeah.
Also teases collaboration with Attack on the Block writer director Joe Cornish.
Yeah, what they did Attack the Block was where, I mean, that was where John came from. Like, that was his
Right.
thing. And I remember, like, when people were saying, like, oh, you gotta watch this, it's really funny. And I was like, what is this? Like, it's this British comedy, it's low budget, it's about aliens. Like, what?
Well, it has the what is it, Nick, that guy from, God, all the Simon Pegg movies.
Yeah,
Nick
Frost.
Frost. That's it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remembered having him in it, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And I remember seeing it, but I didn't. I don't know. I didn't think that much about it. I was like, oh, that's cool. That was better than I thought it was going to be. And then of course, yeah, John just blew up after that. So
Yeah.
um, so yeah, now it makes sense. Like he's going to be in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And he's good. He's a good actor. So
Yeah, he's a busy boy now. Like, he's got Pacific Rim coming up. He's got the Watership Down series coming up.
oh yeah, it's been fun following him on Instagram and Snapchat.
Oh,
So,
he's great on Twitter. I love his Twitter. His Twitter's so
yep.
funny because he's a
Oh yeah.
fan. He's a fan of everything, and I love that.
Yeah, he's great. But we're gonna take a quick break. We'll be right back. Again, you're listening to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. See you guys all in a minute. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. And I've got a lot more news to talk about. A little bit more movie news. We got some Master of the Universe news.
Yeah, Kellen Lutz from Twilight, whoever he played, uh, tweeted that he had a talk with McG about being in it in some way. So I don't know. Maybe he goes from Twilight to He-Man. I, I don't care because this movie just does not. I don't care about this movie.
Oh,
At
that was
all.
the big dude. Okay, that makes sense. He's He-Man.
Yeah, he would fit the I'm the next version of Dolph Lundgren model they seem to be looking for.
Right. He looks like Hercules, so it makes sense. um, let's see here. What other news we got? Son of Shaolin.
Yeah, so there's a graphic novel coming out about and it's supposed to be like how ancient Chinese martial arts mixes with current urban gang warfare in some respect. The details were a little sketchy because the graphic novel isn't out yet, and The Rock is already attached to star in the movie adaptation.
Right, to star and produce.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Here's a thing that's not out yet. Who can we get to all do it? All right, Dwayne.
Wow.
Guy wants to do everything, man, and more power to him. Why not?
Yeah.
He wants to work. Let him work.
Yep. He's done pretty good so far. I want to see Central Intelligence.
Yeah, I might go see that tomorrow. That's the one where I'm like, I'm tempted to go see Independence Day because I know nobody else will be in the theater.
Oh man, go see The Conjuring, man. Oh, it's so good.
I don't know. I might do a day tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. My favorite part of The Conjuring was the sing along.
Oh, those nice. That's interesting because those are hit or miss when it comes to horror
I'm
movies.
Just kidding.
Sometimes they do them. Sometimes they do them.
You'll see. You need to see it, man. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good. I'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, good for The Rock, man. So yeah, no, tell me about Tetris. Go ahead.
Okay, so one of the producers, Larry Kasanoff, who also worked on the Mortal Kombat films, has said that
I like the first one.
Yeah, first one was good. But then they decided to do more with it, which was the problem. And it seems like Tetris is going to suffer the same problem. Because old Larry came out and he said, the Tetris movie is actually the first in a Tetris trilogy because, and I want to read this exact quote, because the story we conceived is so big. Okay, first of all, there's no story in Tetris at all.
Right.
So I get it. You're going to have to create your own. Okay. So you cobble together a coherent enough story for one, like, hour and 40-minute film, if you're lucky. You're going to tell me that you got the right writers or enough writers to sit down and come up with enough story based on Tetris that you can make 3 full feature-length films out of it? I don't know who's growing what kind of super pot that they're smoking, but they're not charging enough. I
Yeah.
can't, like, I get how. This is a franchise of falling blocks. We can throw plot structure and characterization and everything that makes a script an actual script right out the
Right.
window. This is not going to be a cohesive, logical movie. It's going to be awful.
Right.
But at what point, like, I don't, how 3 movies? Why? I get how you can sit a room full of pick your favorite animal at keyboards. It can be monkeys, it can be cats, it can be
Hmm.
capybaras. I don't care. And they'll bang out eventually 3 full scripts that you can just slap Tetris on, and that can be that. But why?
Right.
What would possess you to even think this is a good idea? This is going to be nothing but catastrophic. And I know we talked about Fast and Furious earlier and how, if you'd said back in the day this was going to be epic, you'd be crazy. This is not that. This is not going to turn into that. This is not something that should be made into a movie, let alone 3. I don't. Why? Why would you do this? Why would you think you have the ideas to do this? I don't understand. I these are. I want to read these scripts.
Yeah.
I do. I don't even care about the movie so much. I want to read these
Oh,
scripts so that I can see just what lunacy went into this thought process.
did you see Max Landis's Turtles?
No.
Oh my God, you need to watch that.
Okay.
We got to talk about that next week. I didn't send that to you.
No, I don't think
Okay.
so.
Okay, Max Landis went on YouTube. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut into
It was just
Tetris
going to kind
being
of keep being the
stupid.
same thing. I needed to be distracted.
No, no. Okay, so Max Landis for a few weeks now, he's been teasing, saying, "Hey guys, I wrote a script or I had an idea about the Ninja Turtles movie," and he bumped into someone who he knew was a part of the sequel, and he's like, "Oh my God, I have the best idea for a Ninja Turtles movie, a sequel to the original one that you guys just did." It involves Bebop and Rocksteady. It involves the Turtles. It involves Splinter and Krang and all this other stuff. And they're like, "We already got a script. We already got this. It's already it was way too far past the
Right.
moment." And then he pitched him his idea, and the guy was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And so like, and then he explains his pitch, and I'm telling you, Logan, it is a crying shame. We will never get Max Landis's Ninja Turtle movie. It also involves a Fall Out Boy song, which sounds completely bonkers.
Oh, so it's Ghostbusters.
No, 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 man. When you watch this video, because he plays it when he's explaining the scene too. He plays the song, and it is so fucking good, dude. It is. I'm telling you, listeners, go look for Max Landis's Ninja Turtles pitch. It is the if you're a Ninja Turtles fan, or if you're a fan of writing or any of that kind of stuff, you are going to love this. I think it's like 7 minutes long. Tempted to have you watch it during one of our breaks, but it is so fucking good, man. Um, so definitely watch that this week or something. Um, it is, oh man. I had one of my friends watch it. He's like, "That's it." Why? He goes, "I loved the second one, but I would have killed for that movie." And it's a shame that we're never gonna get it.
Yeah, Max
I
has one of those, like, if he actually breaks out and finds, he'd have the kind of following that, I mean, people that would follow him down Like he
Oh
would
yeah.
just he would absolutely have that kind of following.
Oh yeah. Totally. Totally. I mean, I'm just a total fan of his now because uh, I don't know. I've been listening to him pitch movies for a while now, and I'm like, there's something to him, and it makes sense. I mean, he has to be one of the most sought after writers right now. He had 5 movies released last year. That's unheard of for a scriptwriter, and a lot of the movies don't come out that good, but that's not his fault. You know what I mean? Like the studios, they know how good he is. Like and I like how he explains it. He's like, a script is the skeleton, but it's the first thing there is, and then everything comes after that. All of these people making all of these decisions that can make the movie shit.
Yeah.
It only starts with his script. He has no control after that. So like in the world of Hollywood, if the movie's bombs or whatever, they still know the script is good. They still know you know what I mean? Like that's why he's so sought after. That's why Netflix just paid him millions of dollars just to make that Will Smith deal or whatever.
Yeah.
Or he probably didn't make a million. I don't know. He made a few 100,000 off of it for sure.
He made a lot more than I do. That's for damn sure.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's by far the youngest, most sought after writer in Hollywood right now. And yeah, it's only a matter of time he's on the level of like the guys who are doing the Lego movies and stuff like that. Because just the way his mind works, I'm telling you, man, when you watch this Ninja Turtle thing, you're gonna be like, fuck, that was good. That's
Yeah.
the Ninja Turtle movie we all deserve. Because you can tell he really respects the characters. He really respects. He's like, Donatello's the best one. He's He's the fucking nerd. He's the one that's got everything together. He's the one where he's like, all of you, none of you guys understand me because I think on such a higher level. And
Yeah.
like, and it's like, yes, that's how Donatello should be treated. Like that's how his character should be in the movies. And he like picks apart what all the turtles' wants and desires are in a matter of like 17 minutes, and it's like, and the way he puts everything together, and Bebop and Rocksteady, it's like, oh my god, this is everything I've wanted, and we're never gonna get it. I don't know. It was awesome. I'll stop talking about it now, but yeah, man. Definitely watch that when you can. Real fast forward, moving on to TV. Did you see like the official Power Rangers poster?
Yeah, they're on top of the car and everything. Like it's a good poster. I have no
Yeah,
problem with it.
I love that. It looks like they're on a road trip, and the stars, it says "Together we are more."
Yeah,
That's
and down by the
fucking
beach and everything. Like that was very that was like the bottom part of that shot is almost kind of taken from the end of the first game that they did.
Oh, see, I forgot about that.
Yeah, they
I
where they
remember playing
yeah,
it.
like they're road tripping in the station wagon and they're driving down by the beach and everything. I was like, oh, I remember. Like that was the first thing that came to mind there. They're all sitting out on top of the roof of the car looking up. I was like, oh, that's cool.
That's awesome. I wonder why 4 of them are up on the roof, one guy's not.
Because Billy can't jump.
I wonder what that means. I wonder if that's. Oh, but
Well, it's
that's
probably
cool. I thought it was a cool
yeah.
picture.
Well, and it was probably a way of like, oh hey, we could fit five up here, but it would look weird. Like,
Right,
because if
right,
you
right.
look at like you can, it's hard to if you and I mean that from like a graphic design perspective. Like if you
Hmm.
tried to fit five people on the roof there, you're not going to be able to differentiate really well between them
Right.
like you can there.
No, you're right. You're right. You're right. Yeah, man, such a cool poster. Can't wait for that. But let's get into some TV news. Mallrats, the series. Kevin Smith deals made a deal, I guess, with Universal TV. Is now complete. So the show's getting shopped around starting in August.
Yeah,
So
yeah, it's a thing. They were
I'm
like, we're
crossing
gonna
my finger now.
yeah, like so. I mean, I'm just curious who picks that up.
Oh man, I want Netflix to do it so bad.
Yeah,
It makes the most sense there.
yeah, but I don't know. Um,
Yeah, yeah, I don't think so.
well, I mean, anything makes sense on Netflix, but like
Yeah,
I,
I could
I,
see AMC because the relationship they already have.
well, I mean, you'd have thought so, but he's tried a couple other projects at AMC that they didn't want.
That's true. Did you see that Zack Snyder and Jeff Johns apparently has a secret project they're working on?
Oh, they have a secret project.
A rumor is that it's a Watchmen for HBO, the TV
Uh,
show.
oh, okay. Um,
Yeah.
I
I think it'd
mean,
be much better as a show than it did a movie.
I think it'd
But
be much better without one of those names attached to it.
I completely agree. I
I'm just,
completely agree.
I'm sorry. Like until he does something that's really respect worthy for me, like I'm so done with Zach.
I actually didn't. I liked Watchmen. I didn't think it was bad as everyone thought.
I had no problem with Watchmen, but like everything he's done since then, like I
Yeah,
can't. And especially like, did he learn nothing from Sucker Punch? Really?
right,
Like
right. Well,
that?
I mean, I guess the rumor is, it is fact. He has said him and Jeff Johns are working on a separate project. Rumors are that's what it is. Also, rumors are talking about a Green Lantern movie or something like that. It's, it could be anything.
Hey, how can we make a worse Green Lantern movie than we did a few
Oh,
years ago? I
so it has a
know,
list of like
I know.
most likely, could be, less likely, downright unlikely, and it's like a 300 style take on the American Civil War. God, I do not want to see that.
No, no, I don't think anybody does. But you know,
No, no.
nobody wanted to
But
see Sucker Punch either.
right, exactly. What else we got here? Um, we got some Game of Thrones news. Benoff and Wise. Is that what you would say it?
Yeah, the directors, showrunners, whatever they are.
Now, I see you put 13, but I read 15. So I guess maybe there's a.
It's what did they say? They said the entire run of the show they thought was going to be like
Seven.
between 70 and 75 hours. So
Right.
they're talking 73.
Right.
So they're saying, anywhere from another 13 to 15 episodes.
Yeah.
And that's going to be split over the next 2 seasons. We do know that.
I hope they do it like The Walking Dead, where it's in October and then it's like,
No,
yeah, I
no,
know they're gonna split out to 2 years.
it's going to be 2 years apart so that they can drag this out.
Yeah, man, so good though. Like the last two episodes, just it literally after the ninth episode, I thought that's the best episode of any show I've ever seen, and then the one after that happened, and we're gonna talk about it.
It had its ups and downs for sure.
It just cemented that this show is just doing things that nothing else on television can do.
Yeah.
Um, oh man, it was so good. Because usually the 10th one isn't like maybe one surprise, but
Right, the finales tend to be a little like I get it cuz they're coming down after the big
mhm.
cuz the ninth one's always the big one. So they can't quite match the tone, but this one
It's
this one
usually like a let's clean up episode,
right,
um,
yeah.
and a big thing at the end, like the first season, the big thing with the dragons and whatnot. This one, it was just like big thing in the first 10-15 minutes, big thing halfway through, big thing about 3/4 of the way through. That was probably the biggest thing for me, and then a big thing at the end. I was just like, oh, this is awesome! Like
Yeah.
he just kept pumping it out. Um, let's see here. I did see some other TV news though. Walking Dead is going to add 2 new characters.
Okay, and these are like brand new. Like they're created just for the show, right?
I don't know. I think so.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think
Yes. Yes. Naomi is a grandmothery type, having lost so many loved ones, is now willing to do whatever it takes not to have to bury anymore. So
it,
she's going to be introduced to Council Carl about the awful necessities of the post-apocalyptic world. The
that
second one.
that
Oh,
doesn't sound like a second Carol.
right. Exactly.
I wonder what
Um,
that means.
Right. On the flip side, this is Jenny, a sunny side up kind of teenager. Oh, Carl. Who sounds a lot like Beth 2.0, basically, they said.
Great.
Kind of
It's
with a world weary toughness. So,
okay. Well, so in doing so, we know that Carl survived the end of the season.
yeah, pretty much. Did you see that? We probably talked about this. They shot
Yeah,
a death scene for every
for
character.
everybody. I love that. I
Yeah.
love that idea.
Yep.
Where they're like, "Hey, we know people are gonna try and figure out which one we filmed, so we're gonna film all of them."
Oh, yeah.
That's
All of them just
that's
getting their head beat
fantastic.
in.
Uh,
Yep. So, man, it's gonna be so good when it comes back. I did see that there's gonna be a new face in Star City in the next season of CW's Arrow. Um, Tyler Ritter, from the McCarthys as Detective Malone, added to the police force after Captain Lance pieced out in season 4. Says actually there will be several fresh faces in Star City since Ritter is only one of the recent new cast members to be announced. So yeah, we've talked about it last week, I think, about a lot of the other ones. So this is just another one they're adding.
Yeah.
Yeah, and and some other news was that they were talking about I forget the actor's name, but the guy who plays Mr. Terrific in Arrow.
Oh
Or
yeah. Yeah. Like his role is gonna kind of, what was the word they used? Evolve or something, I think.
yeah, exactly. He's going to evolve a little bit more to a little bit more action. Kind of like how Cisco was on the Flash. He's going to become Mr. Fantastic pretty much in this season. So
Terrific.
yeah, so absolutely, give me that. That's great.
Okay.
What else do we got here? I think that's it for TV news.
I think so. Yeah.
Unless I'm missing something. We didn't talk about earlier. The J.K. Rowling thing with the houses. Did you read any of that?
I did. Yeah. She kind of introduced, because they're doing like all of this stuff on Pottermore for Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, and they're setting up the North American side of the magic world. And
Oh, okay.
so they were like, oh yeah, there's a school in America, and it's got a Celtic name that you can't pronounce, because
Oh, wow.
that makes perfect sense. But and it has its own houses, and there's all kinds of that stuff. And so this, what was it? I think it was yesterday.
Right.
She had written like a chapter of like, oh, and here's how the school was founded, and here's the backstory on its founders, and so on and so on. And it's a good read.
Okay.
It's not real long. It's basically just a chapter, but it's really
Okay.
good.
So yeah, it says it's the Thunderbird, the Wampus, the Horned Serpent, and the Pugwudge.
That's it. Yeah.
Pugwudge, yeah. Short gray animal with comically large ears that is native to America. Okay.
Yeah, and it's nasty too.
It's fiercely independent, mischievous. I'm just kidding. I was reading it.
Yeah, it's basically, the Horned Serpent is basically Ravenclaw. The Which I know, interesting, right?
Mhm.
The Thunderbird is Gryffindor. The oh, I've forgotten the other two.
The Wampus,
The Wampus is Hufflepuff, and the say it again.
Horned Serpent.
No, the other one.
Uh, the Pugwidge.
Yeah, that one is kind of more Slytherin,
Wait, so why wouldn't Slytherin be Horned Serpent?
because the Horned Serpent is not like the idea of a snake per se.
I
Um,
was gonna say,
it
well, I
was
mean, the
well, and
symbol
there's
looks like a snake. It's a snake with horns.
right, but I mean, it's not thought of in the same way. There's not the
Okay.
same perception. In England, you had Salazar Slytherin, who was like, "Oh yes, I'm evil and pure-blooded, and by the way, I talk to snakes." Uh, this
Mhm.
was kind of the way of saying, "Hey, not all snakes are bad, horrible, awful, like slimy things." So they
Right.
kind of flipped it. And
Gotcha.
there's a little, and there's it explains each of those, like it explains the origin and everything, so it provides more context for why which one is which and everything.
Oh, okay.
But it's a good little story. It's like a chapter basically, and it sets up, hey, so this is what happened, and this is why there's this, and it's like, oh, okay, cool. And there, it sets up like, and there's a magical congress, and they get just as much done as the real one. So yeah, it sets it, it does, it establishes like, oh yeah, and this is where magic in North America comes from, and it's largely, it's interesting because it's almost largely, it starts kind of tribally. Like it's very much like, oh, the magic really came from the Native Americans more or less, and then the immigrants
Mm.
came and they brought magic, and it kind of blended, and so
Oh, that's cool. I like that.
yeah. But it's also a lot newer too, in terms of, the idea that Hogwarts has been around for, like 1,000 years or something.
Right.
And this school has only been around for, a couple of hundred.
That's awesome. I
Yeah.
can't wait.
It's interesting. It's a good story. I don't know just how much of that will play into Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, but I like the idea of hey, here's a thing, and so it needs a little backstory, and because Rowling can't help but keep writing, here's a whole lot of backstory.
Now, do you think this could offend some people
Everything could offend people.
with the because I guess that's what I'm reading. I guess it's saying some Native Americans might not be happy that they're doing that, but
I mean, yeah, I understand that because but here's the thing. It's not like, oh, and Native Americans had shamans, so of course they were magic. It's like, no, that was just it's
right.
it's it's portrayed as like, hey, these were the people that were here.
Hmm.
It's not it's the same thing of just like there are some members of some families that are magic and some that aren't. The
Right.
reason that there was really only Native American magic in what's now kind of the continental US is because at the time, who really the only people that lived here were? Like
Right.
that's why. It's not
I think
it's
if it gets anyone to go, oh, what are these symbols? What are these animals? What is this from? And it gets them looking a little bit deeper into stuff that could only be good, right? To get people educated.
Right. I mean, I'm
Right.
all for it. I think especially over here, I think more people should study those kinds of traditions before they're completely gone.
Right. Right. Yeah. No. Totally agree. Totally agree.
If for no other reason, then some of them are really interesting. Like some of them are really cool.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. No. I could see that. Man, that looks cool. That got me interested because I read names the other day and it was so ridiculous.
Yeah.
There's nothing like these. A pugwudge thingy. That just looks so cool.
Yeah.
Um, all right, what other news we got here? Let's get into video games.
Sure.
I can't. I don't think I have anything else here. By the way, real fast, Doom is on sale right now for like $35.
Really good deal. Go get it. If you
40% off. Yeah.
Yeah, go get it. Dude was really good.
Little Big Planet is $3. Like, there's some pretty good deals right now on PlayStation Store.
Oh yeah,
Oh, that's on PS3.
that's right. They're having a flash sale. Are they doing another one? Because I haven't been on it today.
No, no, it's not a flash sale. It's like a midsummer's dream sale. No, I'm just kidding. It's a
Oh,
mid-year sale.
yeah, it's their big update. That's right. Yeah, the flash sale was last week. That's right.
Right. So you can
Oh,
get a Tony Hawk Pro Skater HD for $5. Just kidding. Don't get that.
no,
Don't get
no,
that.
no. Hang on. Is it HD or is it 5?
I guess it's PS3 again. Sorry.
Oh,
H.
well, then yeah, it would be HD. And if you had a PS3, I would say that's a good deal.
Yeah.
Because it's just
Yeah.
the first one again. The first one was good, and the HD transfer was not bad.
Mm. Okay, that makes sense then.
Yeah, if it was 5, don't buy it. Actually, demand your money back for them even putting it on the store.
Yeah.
Oh, it's awful. It is terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. What else do we got here? Yeah. Let's see. Um, uh, let's kind of jump around. Got a minute before the break or whatnot. Um, uh, yeah, I guess some of the Xbox new games to be added to the backwards compatibility include Comic Jumper, Fallout New Vegas, and I Am Alive. Games
Yeah.
for Gold for July announced the Banner Saga 2. The first one was great. I like that. Tumblestone, July 16th through the 15th. Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six, Vegas 2, Xbox 360, July 1st through 15th. Tron Evolution, Xbox 360, July 16th through the 31st.
Yeah, I like that Comic Jumper's up for backwards compatibility. Like there were a handful of others, but those were the ones that I was just like, oh, I recognize these.
I
Um,
recognize New Vegas, but what's Comic Jumper?
Comic Jumper was this awesome little. It was from the people that made Splosion Man,
Okay.
and it was funny. I remember that was the first time I sat down and actually watched like a Let's Play was for
Okay.
Comic Jumper, and it's really funny. It's a side scroller. It's like part platformer, part beat 'em up. It's really funny. I enjoyed it,
Oh,
and
okay.
yeah, it's definitely worth looking into because it can't be but like I don't know, $10 maybe.
Oh, word.
I mean, this has been a while now. It might even be cheaper. I don't know, but
Yeah.
it's
Well, I
it's
mean, it's added to backwards compatibility. Yeah. So yeah, you're
yeah,
right. It could be just a few bucks on the
it,
store.
yeah, it's definitely worth looking into because it was good.
Sweet, sweet. Well, hey, we're gonna take a quick break. When we get back, we're gonna talk about video games, Masters of Doom, Game of Thrones, and some Conjuring 2. See you guys all in a minute. Thank you for listening to We Geek Podcast. Be right back. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. And we got some video game news to talk about, man. A few things here. First off, you said you played some Mighty Number Nine.
I did.
You want? We could talk about that here now, probably.
Yeah, I mean, it's not
Um,
going to be spoilery. Like, like,
yeah.
how are you going to spoil it? Hey, look, you play as a robot fighting other robots. Like, it is. It's just like it's like a reskinned Mega Man game that sucks.
Did you see Sonic? That what I was gonna get at is that Sonic was taking some digs at him this week.
Yeah, because his last handful of games have been such classics.
Right.
Well,
Of all of the, it's kind of it was funny, but it was kind of it was classless. I don't know the right word,
it
but it
was a little petty is kind of what it
yes.
was, where it was like, well, it's better than nothing. Yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog from like 10 years ago, not better than nothing. Should have stuck with nothing. Would have been better off if you just done nothing.
Yeah,
Uh,
no, I completely agree. I completely agree.
I
So tell me about Mighty Number Nine. Is this something that someone who has only dabbled in Mega Man would even think about getting?
uh probably not.
Because from what I understand, and I want to say this real fast, I know you're going to go into it. From what I gather, the game was advertised as the spiritual successor of Mega Man because, of course, wait, who's the guy that created it?
Inafune, Kenji Inafune.
My name's yeah. So, uh, he was making it, so everyone thought this, and I think came out and said it was spiritual successor, and then it comes out and it disappointed everyone because there was literally two things in the game, I guess, that had anything to do with it.
Yeah, you have an arm cannon and you fight 8 particular bosses who have weaknesses to each other's weapons that you have to fight in a particular order. that's
Okay, so I mean
that's
that
pretty
sounds
much
like
it.
Mega Man. That
It
sounds
it
exactly
does.
like Mega Man.
It plays exactly like a Mega Man game, but there's no. I know it sounds weird to say there's no heart to it, but I mean that's
Right.
it's it's
I heard it was
also
cheap.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like from what I understand, because of they didn't do the 2D graphics, which was a major misstep from what I understand. That would have been a lot better apparently. Um, it sucks. I feel bad for people who have been looking forward to this forever.
Yeah,
Uh,
like my heart breaks for the Kickstarter people. Like
yeah,
I wasn't one of them at the time, but I almost was, but I
right.
was like I couldn't do it, and now I'm kind of glad I didn't.
Yeah,
Cuz this like I'm not impressed.
yeah. From what I understand, they wanted to make him like a cartoon and like this whole like comic and all this other stuff, and it sucks that this. And I saw like Xavier Woods playing a few other people, and it looks super cheap. Like the voice acting, the animation, like you jump through people, and it just looks super cheap.
Yeah, it's I
It
don't
looked
know.
like it's $3 in a few months on the store on sale.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I mean there's a couple of interesting ideas in there. Like the X system they have isn't is an interesting it adds I don't know, like a little score element to it, which is fine. I mean it doesn't detract, it's not necessary, but it's kind of interesting. But I mean it's not I don't know. Like I'm
Well,
not
doesn't that change it from a Mega Man game?
I mean a little, but not
Okay.
like I mean when you play it, it plays like a Mega Man game.
Okay.
You run across the screen. You have a dash function. You shoot from an arm cannon. You know I mean it does play exactly like a Mega Man game pretty much.
Hmm.
Like if
Okay.
you it really is just like if you change the main character from Beck to Mega Man, it would change nothing.
Well, see, I'm thinking about just getting the Mega Man collection and playing that because that's pretty much what I saw on like a bunch of reviews. It was like, hey, if you want Mega Man, it's right now on the store for $10, like
I
1 through 6.
I would hardly recommend doing that instead. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I heard what because you're the Mega Man guy. I don't know much about it. I only know what I hear, and I've only played a few. Um, the first few I heard are really great. What about what's the difference when they jump to like 10 and 9 and those like
Okay, so what happened was one through what was it, five or six are like all old school NES games.
right?
Like they play like original Mega Man. Uh,
Okay.
7 was was like a 2.5D kind of game. Like
Hmm.
that was where they went from like, oh, these are very like where they look like, what's a great way to, okay, it's the difference between Mario and Super Mario, to go
Gotcha.
from 6 to 7, the art style, instead of like, oh, it's kind of flat, very 2D, very platformer, very
Right.
NES.
Like a
7,
16-bit.
yeah, 7 is 16-bit, and it looks like it. And it's like, oh, okay, great. Um, and then 8 was interesting because 8 was actually a PlayStation game. So
Okay.
it's basically still the same. I mean, it's just now 32-bit. They didn't go 3D for a very long time.
Okay,
And
9 looks exactly like a Nintendo game.
yeah, but
Not 9 looks like a sharp Nintendo game.
right, 9 and 10 were the most recent ones that they did, where they went back to the beginning.
Wow. This is what I think people would want. This style, 9 and 10.
I what I want is to go back to uh I want to go back to the X series. I want to go back to early. Like I want to go back to the Super Nintendo ones. I want the 16-bit one back.
Okay.
That's what I want. X was when they changed it up and they were like, "Oh, it's a different Mega Man who's not, it's kind of like they built another one and then they tucked him away to be activated at a much later date."
Okay.
And that was where the X series came from. That's where you got Zero and Sigma and all that stuff.
Oh, okay. How many X games were there?
9,
Jesus.
unless you count Command Mission, which I hope people don't. And then you had Mega Man Legends, and that's where this is actually when the relationship with Capcom and Inafune fell apart. Was the work on Mega Man Legends 3, because
uh,
Legends was a PlayStation game that was 3D, and it was much more about exploration. It was a
mhm.
totally different kind of game,
Yeah, it definitely looks like it.
and it was really good. And it's on sale now too. It's like $3 on the PSN store. Um, and if it's one of those that you can play on a Vita as well as PS3, get it. Absolutely get it, because it's worth it. Because Legends was really good. And then it had a sequel, and then it had a spin-off which was also surprisingly good. And then they started work on 3, and it was going to be a 3DS game, and it was going to be really
Mm.
awesome. And then like that totally disintegrated, and
Oh,
then
okay.
and that was when Inafune left, and then the plans for the the Mega Man version of Mario Maker that they were doing also fell apart.
Yeah, it's all on Vita. So, I mean, all the Mega Man X games are all on Vita. Um,
What about Legends? Is Legends on Vita?
Legends and Legends 2 are both on Vita.
Get Definitely get the first Legends.
Four
I'm
bucks for
Get
both.
it. I'm telling you right now. At least the first one for sure. It's
See,
really
this is
good.
this is why I tell people, even though the Vita's dead, you should, it's such a great old school platform.
Totally.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
absolutely worth it. I would absolutely pick that up. No question.
yeah. That is cool. Yeah. All right. I just purchased it,
There
so
you go.
I'll
See?
play on Vita later.
You're welcome, Sony and Inafune, and
Yeah.
unfortunately Capcom. But I don't know. Maybe they're coming around. I think with everything we saw for Resident Evil 7, I think they're starting to come around.
Think they're wising up?
I hope so. Especially when they saw what happened with Konami and Kojima. Like
Oh
I
yeah.
I hope that that opened some game developers' eyes to be like, whoa, we need to listen to people, or things are gonna go bad.
Yep. Oh yeah. Get some Mega Man Plinko machines.
Oh my god, there would be riots.
Doubtful, and I feel bad for them too, because like Capcom's putting out some good games. I'm sorry, I just thought of Capcom. I meant Square Enix. We're talking about a different company here. Sorry. Take a side. Forget what I just said.
Yeah, where did Square Enix come from?
I don't know. I was thinking Square Enix and Tomb Raider and stuff, and I was like, they're putting out pretty good games, but we were talking about Capcom, and that's a different story.
Yeah.
Entirely, they're actually putting out shit games.
Yeah, that's very true.
Street Fighter, Jesus, what happened?
Umbrella Corps, oh my god, who thought that was a good idea?
Yeah, I'm still waiting for Street Fighter. Once it's $20, I'll pick it up.
Yeah, it's
but
fair.
not until then. Yeah. All right. What else we got here? We got some Ubisoft. Let's see here. You go ahead and take it.
Yeah, Vivendi, who's a partner in Ubisoft, upped their stake in the company. They went from 18% to 20%. And while that itself doesn't sound like a big deal, it gives them a little more leverage for a hostile takeover like they did with Gameloft.
Right. Been hearing about this for a little bit now. It's almost a done thing. Like it's gonna happen. I think this is why they came out on the stage and were like, "We're Ubisoft. We're free to make the games we want to make." Like they're making a big deal.
Yeah.
Big deal.
Because this happened like the day after E3.
Right. Right.
So, and I mean and it's different. Like Vivendi's not trying to buy them out. They're trying to just muscle their way through the board.
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah, it's a whole other to do.
Yeah, I don't know how to feel about Ubisoft. There's really only one game that I'm interested in coming out, and that's the South Park game.
Yeah.
Everything else is like, I don't know, what games do they have? It's just, like, they all look like The Division in some way.
Yeah. I don't know. Watch Dogs 2 might be cool.
Maybe.
Maybe. Yeah.
San Francisco looks cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's gonna be interesting. Didn't they own, Activision for a little bit?
Vivendi did, yeah.
Yeah.
Does? No, I don't think they still do.
I don't think they do anymore.
Because they were partnered with Universal for a while. It was Vivendi Universal, I thought.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know.
Huge company.
Yeah, big time.
Let's see what other news we got here.
We got the Arkham collection. We kind of mentioned it earlier.
Oh yeah, the remaster HD collection is getting delayed indefinitely to give the team at Virtuous Games.
Virtuous Games.
Virtuous. Hold on a second, get closer to the screen. Additional time to deliver the polished Batman gaming experience. This doesn't look good, right?
No, this is not good. This is really not good. I'm not sure exactly what it means, but this is bad news. When they actually use the words delayed indefinitely, that's bad.
Yeah, some deal did not go through for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I wasn't that excited for it when I heard about it. I mean, I was like, okay, maybe play through Arkham, like the first game, would be great because I haven't played that in a while. But I don't know. I'd rather play a BioShock collection.
Yeah.
And go through that. I don't know. So, guess you'll have to boot up your PS3s for Batman.
Right, because you can't play them on PC either.
Oh yeah. So I see Brock Lesnar is going to be the cover of WWE 17.
And this is bullshit. Like I don't even care. There are a half dozen other people who deserve to be on that cover, but Brock Lesnar's the big draw. Brock Lesnar hasn't been there this year. All right, Brock Lesnar had his day in the sun on Here Comes the Pain 15 years ago. No, stop it. Like, you have Goldberg in the game, you have Brock Lesnar on the cover. Let's see what happened the last time those two forces collided? Oh yeah, they had one of the worst matches in WrestleMania history. This can only end well. God almighty.
Yeah, I mean, what does that say? you know?
It says WWE is still tone deaf to the idea of new talent actually doing exciting things.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean we've talked about this in length. I can't believe it. I'd love to see just like the Shield have all three of them on there, like super pissed at each other, like fighting each other, like a big brawl.
That would have worked. That would have been great. Or
Because that's
put
what this year's gonna be about.
or the New Day, or the Wyatts, or Sami Zayn, or Kevin Owens, or AJ Styles, or
Oh,
there's so many people they could have put on there. They would have done so much better to put the New Day on there than Brock Lesnar.
oh, totally. And I
Uh,
worry about my boy Xavier. Ooh.
he's getting a little freaked out by the Wyatt boys.
Yeah, man. All right. Well, we're gonna talk more about this when we get back, and then we'll get into some reviews. But you're listening to We Geek Podcast on N.FM. See you guys all in a minute. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast and the N.FM. And before break, we were talking about WWE cover. Man, I just hope they don't break New Day up.
I don't think they will. They're too hot right now. There's no way.
But I just think that's exactly what they would do, just because they are too hot. They'd be like, "Hey, this thing's working really well. Let's screw it up. Let's figure a way out to get these guys separated." I hope they don't do that. But yeah, man, I totally agree. New Day would be perfect on that cover. But I don't know. I don't know. I play digital anyway, so it's no big deal.
Right.
Yeah, who cares? Man, just I wish they went all digital. I just
I don't.
imagine if studios could just set price points differently. Anyway, that's talk for another day. Let's see here. Is there any other video game news?
I think that's it. The Sonic team said, "Hey, we're working on a new game," and everybody went, "We know," and they went, "Oh, okay."
Right,
That was pretty much
exactly.
it. Like,
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I saw that Microsoft made its 100 or its 1 millionth Xbox One Elite controller. Um,
sure.
okay, yeah, no, I know one person that has it, but I don't know. I saw that IGN gave Inside 10.0, so I kind of want to check that game out now. I think it's only on Xbox One though,
Is
right
it?
now. Yeah.
Oh, isn't it? Because
Um,
isn't it it's an ID at Xbox game, isn't it?
yeah. And I saw that the PlayStation's dropping Ustream.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
Probably because
Um,
nobody's using it.
yeah, exactly.
Everybody's using Twitch. I mean, even YouTube doesn't get quite as much play as Twitch does. Not for something like this. YouTube, I think gets streamed more off of PCs.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. I did download a game. You ever heard of Undertale?
No.
Okay. Apparently it was like the biggest game last year, and we didn't play it because we don't really play PC games that much. Um, and it looks fun as hell. It's like an old school like RPG,
Okay.
and everybody is swearing by it. It changes like the perspective of the game throughout the game design. I guess the battle system's inspired by like Mario and Luigi series, as well as like bullet hell shooters. Like I don't know. Basically, the battle system has a lot to do with like Super Mario RPG, and stuff like that. But the game, I don't know. Look it up, listeners. Look it up. Undertale. I'm sure most people have heard about it. I feel like an idiot saying it, and you know, apparently it was like the biggest game last year. For PC gamers. But it's like it's an indie title, so like when I say it looks old school RPG, I mean like it is old school RPG. But dude, the reviews are just 9.5, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. IGN gave it a 10 out of 10. GameSpot gave
Nice.
it 9. Game Informer gave it 9.5. Destructoid gave it a 10. Metacritic is at a 92. Um, yeah, so I'm gonna be playing that. Uh, and hopefully falling in love with it like everyone else.
Right.
Yeah. But we need to hold on. We need to talk about Game of Thrones and of Doom. So, Game of Thrones we could talk about a little bit. You want to do like its own episode for this season?
Yeah, we'll do a full season review probably in the next couple days.
Okay. Uh, quick thoughts about it first, though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
I loved it. It's pretty much cemented itself as my so far my favorite. That episode last week was probably or 2 weeks. I don't know. The one with the big bastards battle is probably my favorite episode of any show of all time, and the season finale just cemented it as probably my favorite show I've ever seen. And we still have 2 seasons left, so Lost. It's right there with Lost
yeah.
for me. It's a toss up because oh man, I loved Lost, but this is just so good.
Well, and because I mean, now we've got all the pieces coming together.
Now we got all
You
the
you
pieces.
have you
All right.
have the dragons coming from the east. You have the queen at King's Landing. You've got Kroll, the warrior king, up in the north. Like
Hmm.
we're finally, and I think that's even what the showrunners said is like now we're moving towards the end game.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like we have just hit the third act,
Yeah,
and
like
now we're going to see the final act, and it's going to be between 2 seasons. Oh yeah, I can't wait, dude. So got a little bit of time left. We're going to talk about Masters of Doom and The Conjuring. Now I didn't finish Masters of Doom, just to be completely honest, but I got a lot through it. What did you think of it?
I loved it. I loved.
Yeah.
I liked. This one reminded me of Console Wars in that it was told. It was kind of like a documentary. It
Yes.
wasn't. It wasn't like Live from New York, where it was
Hmm.
just interviews.
Right.
This was done more in a narrative style, and I enjoyed that a lot more.
Yes.
Uh,
Absolutely.
and you could. It's kind of, I don't know what it says about our culture that like when they introduced like here's Romero, he's kind of the rebellious teen, blah 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 blah, and here's Carmack, he's the technical engineer side, and you think, oh,
Hmm.
these two are gonna meet and fall in love and then break up and it's gonna be awful, and that was kind of exactly what happened pretty much.
Yep. Oh, that's exactly what happened. Yeah, and you
Yeah,
see their career. It's so that's what happens in a lot. It happens with like the two the two Steves.
yeah,
Um, it's very similar. And yeah, when they came together, they created something that changed gaming forever.
yeah. I didn't realize the sheer impact of that because this was all, I wasn't quite aware enough, in '93. So
Right.
so this would have all been completely lost on me. But just
Yeah.
I love the part where they were talking to Alex, what was his name from Microsoft, and he said, "Yeah, I got
Right.
emails from Bill Gates of like, should we buy this company?" I was,
Right.
I was like,
Yeah.
"Damn,
Yeah.
damn!" Like they
Oh
had
yeah.
Bill Gates worried.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Doom changed everything. I
Yeah,
mean, it put first-person shooters just on the map. It just it was great. I love these kind of books where they dive into the history of video games and stuff. And they even actually talk about another book in this book called Hackers that we might just pull up and do that one day. Um, because he talks about reading the book Hackers, and it's about all the people that came, including the Steve Jobs and all of them. So I definitely think that might be one of the books that we pick some other point. Because I want to that got me interested in it as well. So
yeah.
yeah, man, I loved it. Definitely gonna be finishing it soon. Just this week has been completely rough. But yeah, man. I know we only got a few minutes, so I guess I'll talk about The Conjuring.
Well, I'll go ahead and pick a book for next week.
Oh yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
Uh, and it's funny because this was actually on my list, and this was one that I'd never heard of, but it was like,
Okay.
oh, this was on one of these like top 50 sci-fi fantasy lists, and
Okay.
it's called Neuromancer by William Gibson, and it's interesting because they talk a lot about that book in Masters of Doom.
Yep. I'm putting it down
So I was
right
like,
now.
all right, that seals it. That's my next pick.
Yep. All right. There we go. Let me write it down. Send it to myself.
There
Okay.
you go.
Nope.
So
I
let's
didn't
talk scary movies.
Yes. So, okay. If you like the Conjuring one, you're going to love this. Is it Jason Wan or
James Wan.
James Wan? Okay. he is doing things in horror that no one else is doing right now. It really, really is good. I don't want horror movies are weird, just like comedies. You don't want to tell the jokes. You don't. I don't want to tell you the scares.
Right.
What made this one so special though is that you cared about the characters, not only the characters that have, of course, coming over from the first one, the ghost hunters, um, everything, just every scene you see, everything happens for a reason. It's just and what I mean by that is that like the build up and the sweet scenes with each other make it so that when things are going to hell in a handbasket, you care about them. You don't want anything to happen to them, and that includes the family that's just being, haunted or whatever. And it actually makes you care. And in this movie, I don't know if you know that it takes place in London, and it takes place with a real like haunting that happened. Um, uh, a very real one. I mean, they legitimately at the end of the film they show you certain scenes in the movie and clippings from photographs of the people and things that happened. It was a thing that actually happened. Of course, a lot of it's Hollywood and done for suspense and whatever, but it was really well made. I didn't know what direction it was gonna. I didn't know what was gonna happen. I didn't know the real story well enough to like just guess, but it just had, like I said, heartwarming scenes that made you go, okay, I care about these characters. And the sing along, that was the best part. So I'll just leave you with that. um, but yeah, man. So that's it. Definitely go see that. Again, of course, you're listening to We Geek podcast on the N.FM. Also, go watch the Max Landing Ninja Turtles pitch. You can go to our Facebook group, our We Geek podcast Facebook group. Like it. We also one you can talk in. At We Geek podcast, at the Logan Witt, and at Adam Estep. We Geek podcast at gmail.com. Send us an email, and I think that's it.
I think that'll do it.
All right, Captain.
Captain.